Hey guys, it's Arakko here, and today I wanted to go ahead and talk about another one of my most anticipated comics of the year, which just happened to drop today. Of course, I'm talking about the anticipated X-Men Red #1. X-Men Red #1 is written by Al Ewing. You may know Al Ewing from really great comics like The Immortal Hulk that he did with Joe Bennett, or Sword. We'll be touching on Sword later. Next up, I want to go ahead and tell you about the artist for X-Men Red #1. I'm referring to the excellent Stefano Caselli. Stefano Caselli has a long working relationship with Jonathan Hickman. Jonathan Hickman, as we know, kicked off the recent run of X-Men series with his work on House of X with Pepe Larraz and Powers of 10 with R.B. Silva. Jonathan Hickman reunited with Stefano Caselli on Inferno, and now Caselli is still returning to this X-Men world with Ewing on X-Men Red #1. Next up, we have Federico Blee on the colors for the series. Blee previously worked on the most recent Daredevil series with Chip Zdarsky. Next up, we have VC's Ariana Maher with the letters and production of the series. One of the aspects that I wanted to highlight before moving forward is that Marvel seems to be so confident in this creative team that they're actually returning from the recent Sword series. Al Ewing and Stefano Caselli are back together for X-Men Red, even focusing on some of those Sword concepts that are being reused for this particular issue. And let's go a little bit more in depth. What is X-Men Red? Well, in order to answer that question, I'm gonna have to give you a couple of plot spoilers. If you don't want to know anything about House of X or Powers of 10, please go ahead, click off the video, read all those books, and then come right back here so I can tell you what I have to say next. X-Men Red is the planet Mars, which was terraformed by the X-Men so that the additional mutants of Amenth had a place to live. Now, this is where everything starts to get interesting. Last week, we covered Immortal X-Men, and in a lot of ways, X-Men Red is almost a mirror to Immortal X-Men. For instance, the people of Arakko, the newly found terraformed Mars, the people of Arakko have their own governing body. But instead of being called the Quiet Council, it's called the Great Ring. The people of Arakko had their own bar, but instead of being called the Green Lagoon, it's called the Red Lagoon. Right now, the highest official of all the lands in Arakko happens to be Storm, seen right here. Storm is currently the voice of Soul and the regent of Arakko. So a lot of this issue is Storm starting to meld into her new role as the regent. And really, we see all these calls to Storm to really be the leader that everybody wants her to be. This really makes an internal conflict and allows Ewing to really focus on characterization and plot at the same time. I see the first building blocks of what he's starting to do with Storm, and the cliffhanger, the last page of the issue, should make longtime readers really excited because there's a really interesting, next phase or next way that they're going to communicate this status quo. But I'm not going to spoil it for you because you have to experience it for yourself. A lot of the greatness about this particular issue is that the Marvel cosmic elements that have been there in previous Jonathan Hickman works or previous titles are now able to be used here. Characters who we haven't seen in a while, like Vulcan or Roberto da Costa, show up here, and they all have really interesting new status quos. Nobody has forgotten about previous continuity or previous titles, and they are all mentioned here, as well as a lot of the animosity between the different characters. People like Abigail Brand from Sword have a bad reputation because of all the secrets they keep. And in this issue, they already start reaping the problems of what they've introduced. In addition, Stefano Caselli is great at drawing these really tense, really high-octane bar fights. Caselli just draws like every single wrinkle on a face that's angry and contorted. And seeing these different characters, fight against each other is just, especially in this like brutal bar setting over something really silly that you want to see them resolve. It's just to be introduced to all these alien concepts and still get that level of payoff. That's something commendable that you would only really see in an Al Ewing comic book. One of the last things I wanted to discuss here was the excellent characterization for Magneto. Really, Magneto was trying to heal from the recent events from the trial of Magneto. But a new character, or what I believe is a new character, said a line to Magneto that I wanted to share with you because it really stuck with me even after I closed the book. He said, "How can you be strong if you won't heal what's broken? How do you heal without saying it hurts?" So this is kind of a cliched line, but in a book that deals with, aliens, politics, it was a smaller character beat that just happened to work in this setting. And it really showed that Al Ewing is aware of not only the characterization, but the plotting and all those aspects as well. And that's just another one of the reasons why I really can't recommend X-Men Red #1 enough. For new readers, this is a good spot for you to jump on and acclimate yourself to the X-Men titles in order to, basically jump in and start from here, because everybody has to start somewhere. And if you're a returning reader, you're really going to see a lot of these excellent character dynamics utilized in ways that you hadn't thought possible previously. You're going to see characters who you've never seen together before, and it's fascinating here. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. It was such a pleasure to come on here and talk to everybody about X-Men Red today. I hope you enjoyed the issue as much as I did. I want to encourage everybody to go ahead and follow me on Twitter. You can find me at Arakko. Also, I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I know it's growing, and I want you to go ahead and like the video as well. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great day and read more comics.